Most people don't realize this, but the majority of their suffering does not come from the problems in their lives. It comes from the way they argue with reality. They wake up each day already negotiating with the world, asking it to be easier, fairer, clearer, more predictable, and when the world refuses, they feel betrayed, exhausted, and quietly angry. This is why so many intelligent, capable people feel stuck. They are fighting the wrong battle. They believe the solution to life's problems is to gain more control over outcomes, over people, over circumstances, over time. Stoic philosophy begins by turning this instinct completely upside down. Instead of asking how to control life, it asks something far more unsettling and far more powerful. What if control was never the point? This is the essence of reverse thinking. It does not deny problems. It reframes the battlefield. And in doing so, it gives you back something modern life slowly erodes: inner authority. Reverse thinking, in the Stoic sense, starts with a blunt observation. Life is indifferent to your preferences. It does not care how prepared you feel, how hard you worked, how good your intentions were, or how badly you wanted a particular outcome. Things happen. People disappoint. Plans collapse. Bodies age. Effort does not guarantee reward. And the earlier you accept this, the less energy you waste being shocked by it. Most people never make this acceptance. They live in a state of low-grade protest, constantly thinking, this shouldn't be happening, or by now things should be different. That silent argument with reality drains them far more than the problem itself. Stoicism calls this confusion the root of emotional disturbance, mistaking what is not up to you for something that is. Reverse thinking begins the moment you stop saying, this shouldn't be, and start asking, given that this is, how should I respond? Epictetus, a former slave turned philosopher, built his entire teaching around one sentence: some things are up to us, and some things are not. It sounds almost too simple, but that simplicity is deceptive. When you apply it honestly, it dismantles much of what you thought mattered. Your reputation is not fully up to you. Other people's behavior is not up to you. Whether you are liked, praised, promoted, chosen, or remembered is not up to you. Even success itself is not fully up to you. What is up to you is how you think, what you choose, how you act, how consistently you act, and whether you align your actions with your values. The problem is that modern life trains us to obsess over the first category while neglecting the second. We are taught to manage impressions, predict outcomes, chase certainty, and avoid discomfort at all costs. Stoic reverse thinking does the opposite. It tells you to stop chasing certainty and start building resilience. Stop trying to control impressions and start controlling conduct. Stop demanding comfort and start cultivating strength. When a problem appears, stress at work, conflict in a relationship, uncertainty about the future, the automatic reaction is emotional escalation. The mind starts racing ahead, imagining consequences, replaying conversations, anticipating rejection, rehearsing defenses. This reaction feels productive because it feels intense, but intensity is not clarity. Stoics would say this is the mind hijacked by impressions, raw, unfiltered interpretations that present themselves as facts. Reverse thinking interrupts this process. It introduces a pause. In that pause, you ask a different question. What part of this situation belongs to me? Not what do I wish were different, not who is to blame, but what is actually within my control right now? This question is grounding. It shrinks the chaos. It turns an overwhelming situation into a manageable one by narrowing your focus to what you can actually influence. Take pressure, for example, the kind that comes from work, responsibility, expectations, and the feeling that you are constantly behind. Most people experience pressure as something imposed on them, something hostile, something that must be reduced before they can function. They wait for relief before acting. Stoic reverse thinking flips this. It assumes pressure may not disappear anytime soon, and asks instead, who do I need to become to function well under pressure? This is a radical shift. It moves the goal from comfort to capability. Pressure stops being an enemy and becomes a training condition. You stop wishing for lighter weight and start strengthening your grip. This does not make the pressure pleasant, but it makes it meaningful. And meaning is far more sustainable than comfort. The same reversal applies to fear. Fear thrives on uncertainty and imagination. It grows when you avoid it, when you refuse to look directly at what you are afraid of losing. Stoics practice something that sounds counterintuitive to modern ears. They deliberately contemplated negative outcomes. Not obsessively, not catastrophically, but deliberately. They asked, what is the worst that can realistically happen? And then, crucially, how would I handle it? This exercise strips fear of its power by transforming it from a vague threat into a concrete scenario. Once you see that you could survive the worst, fear loses its authority. Reverse thinking here is not optimism, it is courage through realism. You are no longer hoping nothing bad happens. You are prepared to remain intact even if it does. Consider judgment and criticism, another major source of distress. Humans are social creatures, wired to care about belonging. But modern life turns this sensitivity into a vulnerability by making approval constant, visible, and addictive. Likes, comments, metrics, rankings, feedback. Everywhere you look, you are being evaluated. The instinctive response is to manage perception, to shape yourself into something acceptable, impressive, or untouchable. Stoic reverse thinking asks a harder question. If I am misunderstood or disliked, what actually changes? If your self-worth collapses without approval, then approval was never a bonus. It was a crutch. Stoicism teaches that dignity comes from coherence between values and actions, not from consensus. You can learn from criticism without surrendering to it. You can improve without begging for validation. Reverse thinking takes your identity out of the crowd's hands and places it back in your own. Failure is another place where reverse thinking reveals its strength. Failure feels final only when you believe outcomes define you. Stoics rejected this belief entirely. To them, success and failure were externals, events that happened, not judgments of character. What mattered was how you responded. Did you learn? Did you persist? Did you remain honest, disciplined, and fair? Reverse thinking reframes failure from a verdict into feedback. Instead of asking, how do I avoid failing again, a question driven by fear, you ask, what is this failure revealing? That question keeps you engaged rather than defensive. It allows you to extract value instead of shame. Over time, this approach builds a quiet confidence. Not the confidence that you will always win, but the confidence that you can recover without losing yourself. At a deeper level, Stoic reverse thinking challenges one of the most common assumptions of modern life, that a good life is a comfortable life. Stoicism argues the opposite. A good life is a life lived with excellence of character, and excellence is forged under resistance. This does not mean seeking suffering, but it does mean refusing to waste it. Obstacles are not interruptions to life. They are part of the curriculum. Every difficulty is an opportunity to practice patience, discipline, courage, or wisdom. When you adopt this view, problems lose their ability to humiliate you. They still hurt, but they no longer feel meaningless. Reverse thinking transforms the question from, why is this happening to me? Into, what is this asking of me? To make this practical, Stoics relied on simple, repeatable exercises. One of the most powerful is the dichotomy of control, written down. You take a piece of paper and divide it into two columns. On one side, you list what is within your control. Your effort, your choices, your preparation, your reactions, your habits. On the other side, you list what is not. Outcomes, other people's opinions, timing, luck, the past. Most anxiety lives in the second column. Most progress lives in the first. Reverse thinking is the discipline of living as if the first column is your responsibility and the second is none of your business. Each time your mind drifts toward worry, you gently but firmly redirect it toward action. This approach also changes your relationship with time. Instead of demanding immediate results, you focus on consistency. Instead of rushing for certainty, you commit to principles. Stoics understood that progress is often invisible in the short term and undeniable in the long term. Reverse thinking teaches patience not as passivity, but as trust in process. You do the work today because it is right, not because it guarantees applause tomorrow. This frees you from the emotional volatility of waiting. You stop checking for results every hour and start measuring success by adherence to your standards. Perhaps the most profound reversal Stoicism offers is this. Peace is not found in controlling life, but in mastering your response to it. When you stop expecting the world to bend, you stop breaking when it doesn't. You still plan, strive, build, and improve, but you do so without attaching your worth to outcomes you cannot command. This creates a form of inner freedom that no circumstance can take away. You may lose opportunities, relationships, status, or comfort, but you do not lose yourself. And that is the real solution to life's problems, not their absence, but your ability to remain whole in their presence. In the end, Reverse thinking is not a trick or a mindset hack. It is a commitment to reality. It is the choice to stop fighting what cannot be changed and to invest fully in what can. It is the discipline of asking better questions. Not, why is this happening, but what is mine to do? Not, how do I escape discomfort, but how do I act well within it? When you live this way, problems still come, but they no longer dominate you. They become part of the work of becoming someone stronger, steadier, and more self-directed. And that, according to the Stoics, is the closest thing to freedom a human being can achieve.